Welcome to The Practical Path, a podcast for personal and spiritual growth. This is step number 24 along the path, and today we'll talk about life lessons from the universe. This week, it's all about self-motivation and setting boundaries, even if you are the go-to person in life. Now, let's get started on the path for today. And welcome to The Practical Path. As the man said, a podcast for personal and spiritual growth, and this is step number 24. And good morning to my friend and chilly partner, Vicki Wagoner in Blue Ridge, Georgia. Good morning. How are you?
Good mornings. Trying to stay warm.
I hear that. Just notes on weather before the recording started, and it's like, I'm here in Florida. I'm in northern Florida. Gainesville is considered northern Florida, but we are literally under a winter storm advisory starting later tonight as we record this into the next day. And that's insane to me. I was complaining to my friend, Miss Vicki, that I'm not used to this. And she was reminding me that I'm from Cleveland. And I'm like, that's why I left. Snow and cold and all that. So anyway, here we are.
Oh, I just had to rub it in.
Yeah, well, I know. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll send, if it is entirely possible, there is a small chance, a non-zero chance, as they say, that we have some snow tomorrow night. I've seen snow in Florida, and I've lived in Florida since, I'm not going to tell you, I've seen snow in Florida one time, maybe two, when I lived in Fort Myers, which is considerably, 200 miles south of where I'm at now. So anyway.
Yeah.
And you were in Naples. Had you ever seen snow in Naples?
Once. Yeah.
Once.
Very, very light, but there was snow. Yep.
Right.
Just absolutely.
And then I ended up, I worked for Apple Computer for 2 years in Austin, Texas, and people telling me same, never warm, never snows. And it snowed the 1 year I was in Austin, a good amount. And I thought maybe I brought it with me. I don't know. But anyway about the weather. The weather doesn't change. Hopefully people do. But there you go. So
I got a confirmation. You were talking about the snow and saying that you were an Apple. I got a notice from Apple Fitness on, because the little notes come up on my screen. It's so funny as you were talking about Apple, the Apple Fitness showed up.
If Apple Fitness ever showed up on my screen, it would be like, hey, buddy, are you doing anything? Come on, man. It'd be like.
You know how much I love things like that, how things just pop up and the synchronous. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
I love it. I love it. So except for the weather, and we started this last week, and I wanted to offer to see if there's anything for this week. Has the universe, has the world, have the angels, have the God, whatever you choose to believe in. I just say universe. Has the universe had any lessons for you this week that you would like to share with us? Because I'm working on one.
Oh. No, not that I can think of. We live in the mountains. We know this is what we get,
Right.
So
I was thinking bigger, better, not bigger, better, just a bigger overarching kind of a, something that you got that was put in your face this week that you're like, oh yeah, I see what's going on here.
No, I can't think of anything. Been kind of a boring week, got to be honest with you.
Yes. Honestly, I think that has been part of what has been put in front of me. That it's like I have been so unmotivated to do anything.
Me too. Yeah.
And I partially blame this weather. I know as humans, we respond to our environment, just like any other critter, any other plant, any other animal.
Right.
And when things are just boring and gray and whatever around us, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
For me, the thing has been, and I've been trying to get back to doing and trying. And I said that, and I could see that little green guy in Star Wars, Master Yoda, who says, do or do not. There is no try. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So
Yep.
there's my lesson this week right there. It just literally came to me. But I've been trying to do some more videos for my iPhone channel. We talk about
Yeah.
that all the time. I do the iPhone videos. And it just is like, to use the old for it's like pulling teeth. It's like trying to get up off there and go do something is so hard. And I sit here and I scroll another cat video or another Twitter post, and I just don't want to do it. And I don't get it. But so here's what was given to me. Here's the little thing that has helped a little, and that is just find something to be curious or interested or something that leads to that, because I have this light gizmo, this like studio light kind of a thing that when I record a good video, I'll put it up and it makes everything look pretty and look like a studio, like a TV studio. And
Right.
I'm like, oh, I wonder how that would work in this one corner of the room where I have a bookcase, and maybe it would look like Bill sitting in front of the books, on that. So I moved some stuff around in one room, and I put up the light, and just to see how, just that. And I told myself, I'm just going to try this one thing, just
Yeah.
this one little doggone thing, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I find that, I told you I've been reading the book Atomic Habits, and
Yeah.
it's the same sort of a thing where it's like, do the one tiniest, littlest, smallest thing he gets his atomic from, and see if it doesn't lead to other stuff, or if it at least doesn't give you a little. And it kind of did. So I set up the whole kind of a studio thing. I like, oh, this light could go here, this light could go here, this book could be turned here, this little background could go here. So I did all that, and that felt good. I still didn't record any video, but at least now I feel like, all right, when I'm ready to record the video, all right,
Mhm.
now at least I know exactly how to do it and where I'm, et cetera. So
Yes.
that was my tiny little bit of a lesson and a message and a whatever from the universe this week about, all right, just do one little damn thing,
Mhm. Yeah.
one little tiny thing, and see if it doesn't lead to something bigger or better or get you your butt. And so anyway, I, how does that, how's that sound to you? I
Sounds
see a
good. And
nodding,
also, well, and also you got to think this is hibernation time.
right?
So I'm wondering if maybe this is where, we're supposed to slow down, just take it easy, get recharged, and get ready for spring. I
I
mean,
often think of myself as a large brown bear. Yes.
Hey, it's Bill stepping out of the studio for a quick second. On the podcast, one of the things we talk about a lot is motivation, the desire to get things done in life. It might be physical stuff, losing a few pounds, getting a better job, finding a great relationship. Or it might be more of what I like to call internal things, finding ways to feel better about yourself or life in general. Well, to help our listeners along that particular path, we've prepared a helpful, simple guide for personal motivation. It's called Flipping the Switch: How to Create Motivation at a Moment's Notice. I'd like to send you a free copy, along with some other special bonus goodies. Bonus, you say? Well, yes, kind of an unadvertised in-store special. What is it? Well, you'll just have to find out for yourself. So, do this. Head over to the website, www.thepracticalpathpodcast.com. Yep, the same name as the podcast itself. Put in your email and we'll immediately send you to the free download. We'll also let you know about upcoming podcast episodes and other behind-the-scenes information. Again, just head over to the website, www.thepracticalpathpodcast.com, and get your free guide to boosting your personal motivation. I'm sure you'll find it helpful and, dare I say, practical. Now, back to the show.
I know, because I can't sit still. I like to have things to do, projects to do, things to do. So it's been a tough week because I'm like you, I've not been motivated. I
Right.
start thing and it's like, oh, okay, well, at least I did this one little thing, like I moved the salt and pepper shakers to the middle of the table or something, I mean, it's like, oh, that was big.
Wow. That was big.
But I'm just wondering because it is cold, because we are in, well, at least cold up here. We're in the house a lot more. Just kind of, is this our time to just kind of recharge, slow down, read, just do easy things instead of having major projects, to
Right.
have that feeling of accomplishment. But
Right. Right.
and going back to, I get bored very easily. So it's been tough that way. It's like, okay, all right, I'm accepting it's cold and it's hibernation, but I still like something to do.
Right. No, I get it. I
That's
do.
just, my
So how do
brain.
you I mean, is it literally like you said, just going around and rearranging
Oh yeah,
as they
I've been,
used to say, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic? I mean, it's like, you know, doing the smallest thing and feeling like, okay, I did something.
well,
Y-
that's what I've been doing. Like little things. Like I cleaned out a drawer the other day. It was just like, oh my gosh, how much crap can I have in this thing? So it took me all of like 15 minutes, but it just felt like, oh, well, that was good. So
Right.
then I went back my book.
Right. 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 And I think s- eh, I agree with you that it is that time of year where it's kind of a hibernation and a recharge and a rest up thing.
Yeah.
And I do find myself distracting and I think it's distracting. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just what I want to do at the moment. That's a good
Yeah.
question for another day. Distraction versus intention. I did, I cleaned up a spot in the kitchen that hadn't gotten any attention in a year, so it seemed. I'm like, where did all those crumbs come from? Well, okay, now So that led to a whole project. Well, a half an hour of cleaning and scrubbing and all of that stuff, and then I was done, and it felt better. I mean, I
Yeah.
did have that, but it's like at the same time, I'm like, but you're not. Is that what you intended to do today? No, it's not what I intended to do. But so I don't know. I don't. I'd be curious to know what, our friends, our listeners, all that. If you have questions, if you've got
Yeah.
ideas, feel free to head over to our Facebook page, the Practical Path Podcast, and you can, leave your comments and questions there, and if you have them. I'm just throwing that out there for folks, just to kind of, see what's going on out there, see how you feel. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. I do think the weather has a lot to do with it. I really
I,
do.
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. Because it is like I said up here, it is so cold just to go out to walk the dog is like, oh my gosh, hurry up, do your thing. Let's get back in. Okay. You have 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was thinking this might be time for a litter box training for a small dog like Mr. Max there. I think he could do it. I think he could do it if you do, but yeah. But I know he likes to go out too, so yeah, there you
oh,
go.
he loves his sniffing around.
I understand. I understand, but when it's like zero, come on, man.
Oh, he's still on the board.
I get it. I get it.
Oh gosh. Okay. So what else can
So
we?
yeah, that was, I mean, lessons, and again, lessons from the universe, lessons learned, lessons offered. I'm not saying I learned anything this week, but the universe always seems to have some little lesson to at least offer me. And I think this week it was exactly that, what we've been talking about, which is just find something small
Mhm.
and hopefully useful. Maybe not, but for me, I have this bigger project, the iPhone videos that I've been talking about all the
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
all right, so will I do anything about it today? I don't know, but maybe I'll find something some way else. Like the other night, I was sitting on the couch watching football, and I keep my notepad nearby, clipboard and pen and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. So when
Yeah.
quote unquote inspiration strikes, which has been darn not very often these days, but last night it kind of did, and I was all right. I'm going to start writing a little ideas about
Yeah.
how I want to structure the videos. Now that I've got a place to film the video, it's like, okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to write out a little bit of a outline about, okay, this is how I want to do it and all of that. So I guess the big lesson for all of us, myself and you and our listeners and friends, is just find, if you're in that space, and maybe you're not, but maybe you are, find something small that you can kind of use as the smallest of starters, of stepping stones, of whatever you want to call it, of the first step to take. And
Yeah.
then there you go. You know, uh, I, I listen to one meditation. I listen to a meditation tape in the evening sometimes. And the lady who does it has a whole set of lines about how she talks about when you have the right intention, it's like the first step automatically leads to the next. The first
Mhm.
asking of the question, how do I do this? Why am I doing it? Whatever, automatically displays not necessarily the answer, but part of the answer. And then you kind of follow it like breadcrumbs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long story short, it's
Absolutely.
just a process. So all
Yep.
of life is a process. There you go. Good. I hope that's helpful to folks. It's been helpful to me even though I feel like I've done darn near nothing, and I do kind of get down on myself a little bit for that, but yeah, it's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
you got to be okay with yourself. And if you have a down day, you just go, okay, well, today's a down day. Let me see, the little bit that I can do. And,
Right.
like I said, the breadcrumbs, all add up. So,
Right. I just don't want too many of those down days. I
I
want to
know.
have a little bit of clarity and a little bit of motivation and a little bit of energy
Yeah.
at some point, but maybe not today. Who knows? So anyway, the point of the show is not to bring people down. It's just that's not where we're at. It's just that I want to be open with our friends and to share what we're doing and all of that and how it's going. And because this whole, the podcast is about, personal and spiritual growth. But like
Mhm.
you just said, sometimes in the winter, it's like it's a resting period. It's a
Yeah.
hibernation period. It's a whatever. So yeah, I get it. I get it. That's good. That's good. And on that line, I my second little starter thought for the day.
Uh-huh.
I always try to come up with a little quote from somebody else about things. And it's like, so today I found this thing that said, trauma says I should have done things differently. Trauma says I should have done things differently. Healing replies, hindsight offers clarity, but I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. I deserve to be gentle with myself even when I make mistakes.
I
And
love
that was penned by a person by the name of Zara Bass. Know that name, but Zara Bass, wherever you are, and I don't know if that's a man or a woman, but hindsight offers clarity. I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. I deserve to be gentle with myself even when I make mistakes. And I know that something you talk about all the time. That's why I think it caught my eye. That idea that I did the best I could with what I had in the moment at that
it.
time. That's
Mhm.
big for you. I mean, I've heard that out of your mouth a lot. Let's put it that way.
Well, and the other thing that I like to say is what is the gift that you got from it? How did you
Right.
learn? How did you grow from that, opportunity, and I always say, even in the, your darkest moments, there's still light. You can always find something good out of it.
Right.
So, and
Right.
and which leads us to being gentle with ourselves, like we've been talking about, oh, I haven't been doing anything. Well, that's okay. Just be
Hmm.
gentle with yourself. You just had a few moments of, nothing to do. And so what did you learn from it? Well, you can move forward. Maybe do a little bit, more cleaning out of drawers or, taking a walk or doing something, but always being kind with yourself to go, okay, what did I learn? How can I grow from this? What was the opportunity that it's giving me to shift my perspective? So,
Is that, and I know that's something you work with clients and, the people that you've worked with for a
mhm.
while. Well, even brand new people. I was thinking, because I've been one of your clients for years and years. That's always been something you have said about A, being gentle with yourself, and B, doing the best you had with what you have at the time. And, that is also something that even if there's something you really feel like you screwed up in the past,
Oh,
that it's coming to that realization that it's like you were just doing at that moment what you could with what you had.
Exactly.
So
So it helps to
go ahead.
oh, no, I was going to say, so it helps to step back and go, okay, why did this happen? What can I learn from it? What can I do with it now? How can I turn it into a gift so I find something positive in it and move that forward?
Mm-hmm.
Because as
Mm-hmm.
humans, we tend to look into the darkness, but there's a lot that you can learn from it. You just, like I said, shift your perspective on it.
Right. Right. Do you have anything that you offer to folks as a reminder, or maybe a trigger would be a better way to say it, so that it's like, oh, I'm doing, we talk about this a lot on this show. I'm doing that thing again. I'm doing whatever that thing is. I'm, getting bummed out about stuff or what. How can I remind myself about that? How can I be mindful of that when I'm in the midst of it?
Well, when you're in the midst of it, it's kind of hard to look at it. So when you find yourself calming down, you're relaxing, look at it and go, okay, why did this trigger me? What was going on? What are all the pieces of it? It's kind of like a puzzle. You
Of
don't know what
course.
the puzzle is going to look like until you start putting all the pieces together. And then once you get the bigger picture, you go, oh, wow, this is what it's about. So be okay to feel those emotions, if you need to take, a bat and, you know, beat, a rock or something, just get that energy out and then go, okay, now what am I going to do with it?
Right.
How can I turn it around? How can I learn from this? What triggered me? And going back to and something, from, childhood could be triggering something. So it's not like just right immediately in your face like today. It could be, like I said, going back to childhood, something, that you haven't looked at or addressed or understood. And then if you go back, you got to put all the, the players in it too. It could be parents, it could be a teacher, it could be a friend, something like that. That, giving yourself the opportunity to look at the bigger picture of it and how can you grow from it? How can you change your perspective on it? How can you use it to empower you instead of allowing it to continue to trigger you? Use it to empower yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to make time for it. A lot of people are just so busy, they say, well, I'll look at it later. No, you really got to look at it now because now is when it's affecting you,
Right.
and stepping back from it and go, again, why did that bother me? Is it really that person bothered me or is it something deeper that is triggering this, response?
The now thing sounds like the hard part.
It is the
I
hard
mean,
part.
not the hard part, but I mean, trying to make time for that, because we do have um, busy lives.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe you're in the grocery trying to check out, or driving, or picking up the kids, or doing whatever, and you have a quick moment like that. So maybe what, at night before bedtime? I mean, when you have your private time in the bathroom or
I
whatever.
was just gonna say, I was just going to say, I do a lot of my thinking in the bathroom because I shut the door, lock the door. Who wants to come into the bathroom when you're in the bathroom? Well, my dog. But
Right.
that could be that if that's where you need to go, sit in the bathroom. If you need to, go outside and take a walk, take a walk. Be there for yourself. And
Right.
I think that's a lot of it too. Excuse me, is that we're so busy taking care of everybody else, we did forget to take care of ourselves. And that's really important that we have me time and look at.
Interesting you mention that, because that's in the second half of the show. That's something I have our little thought idea of the week that I want to play with. So we'll have more on that. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I want to finish this idea now, which is to just give yourself. And is this like an everyday? Well, is it an everyday thing? Is it just as stuff comes up thing? Is it? Do you have any ideas on best practices for that?
It's just whenever it comes up, take some time.
Right.
Writing it down too is a very good way to write it down because it's right there in front of you. You have to look at it. It's in black and white. And, don't stuff it away like, because people tend to stuff things, inside,
Right.
and stuff. So no, take a few moments and it's okay for you to just, disappear for a few minutes. The world's still going to be there when you get back,
Right.
but really look at why does this bother me? Why does it hurt? Why does it trigger me? And be okay to, dig. And if, and it's sometimes it'll come right away. Sometimes it takes steps. It takes days, it might, take a little bit of time, but be okay with it. And also praise yourself that you're taking that time to be with yourself for yourself. And that's what I feel is the most important. As I always say, we have to be our own best friend.
Right. Right.
So knowing that by doing that, you are loving yourself, respecting yourself. And with that, you're already shifting that energy.
Hmm.
And then setting strong boundaries with whomever or whatever is going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Again, tons more about that in the second half of the program, and not to over dramatize things. Good word. But yeah, that's the whole idea of what I wanted to talk about in the second half. So good. We're leading up to that. That's good. So as you do that, I mean, all right. So something happened today. It set me off on something. I'm gonna take a few minutes. I'm lucky in that, no, my situation. I don't know if it's luck or not. My situation, I live by myself, no dog, no kids, no whatever. I don't have to close off myself in the bathroom. I can sit on the couch. I can sit on the couch and have a moment to myself and think about that stuff. So, all right. So then I'm going to think to myself, I'm going to go, why did I do that? Is it, and you've mentioned this a few times, and we've talked about it on the show too. Is it something my parents told me, a teacher told me, a loved one, another important person told me, whatever? Is that kind of like the list of like the usual suspects, for lack of a better term? It's like, is it probably almost always, well, you tell me your experience.
Well, and it's what we perceive. We may see something totally different than somebody else sees it. So we've got to
Of
put
course.
ourselves in the works too. What are we, projecting out, or what are we fearful of, or, what is worrisome, or whatever it is. And
Hmm.
being, we have to, we're making the choice of how we're reacting to it.
Of course.
So
But like you said, there is some sort of, well, I don't know that. Let me ask, is it an external thing? Is it an internal thing? Or is it just, it just depends?
it just depends.
And by external, I mean, if for those listening closely, I mean, was it a parent, was a small child, was it a teacher when I was a small child who told me, oh, this thing is terrible, or these people are awful, or whatever, and so now I've carried that forward with me for 50 years.
Well, you got to think we're little kids and we're looking up at these great big people and we figure, oh, they must know everything because they're big. They've been here a long time. To us, they're old. And
Right.
so, we think they know everything. Well, guess what? They got the same thing inside them. They got little kids inside of them that are reacting to things. So
Is,
it's us.
is Go ahead.
Was just going to say, us being conscious of, wait a minute, why is this triggering me? Is this my stuff or somebody else's stuff? Being empathic is very difficult because we
Right.
pick up everything, feel everything. So that kind of throws us off a little bit. Excuse me. So again, just stepping back, looking at it, meditating on it, maybe talking to somebody about it that you feel safe with, um, writing it down. But you
Hmm.
have to look at it. You have to address it, because if you don't, it's like a monkey on your back. It'll always be there. And
Right.
it'll pop up at odd moments. And you
Right.
could be doing something, very simple. All of a sudden you get triggered because something, is triggering you, and making you, feel uncomfortable, or, giving you a deja vu, feeling, or, really,
Sure.
it could be anything. But the
And
most
you said
important,
something.
oh,
Yeah. Most
the most
important.
important thing is you got to address it. You can't just put it away in the dresser and go, well, I'll think about it later, because it's going to come back and find you.
Right.
'Cause
Right.
there's a
Right.
lesson to learn from all this.
And while it's fresh, it's best addressed while it's fresh, so that you can actually remember the details and stuff like that.
Yes,
But you
absolutely.
did say something that I remember hearing in a meditation slash spiritual group years ago,
Mhm.
and some would have a, and I'm doing the air quotes thing, have a feeling about something,
Right.
and would be bringing it up in the group and sharing it in the group and whatever. And the group leader had the smarts and the wisdom to ask, okay, is that for you or is it for somebody else here with us tonight? Somebody
Yeah.
else in the group. And
Yep.
that opened my eyes to think like you, and because what made me think of that was you mentioned about the process, the quality, the whatever of empathy, being empathetic, being open and aware of what's going on around you
Yeah.
emotionally, energetically, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we're
Being
we're
empathetic,
all like, what's that?
being empathic, where you
Right,
feel, you sense,
right.
and you know things. Yeah.
We all have that to some extent. We all pick up on energies around us. We've talked about this on the show before. You enter a room and you can just, "Ugh, this is not good," or, "Oh, this is going to be great." So we all have those feelings. We all know what's going on to some extent. Some people have it a little more, shall we say, a little more practiced than others, in that they can pick up on those things going on around them. So yes, just to get back to my point of, is it me or is this for somebody else? And if I'm with somebody, if I'm with several people and I start to have a certain feeling about something, or something triggered me, or something is making me feel a certain way, that I think one of the first best questions to ask myself is that exact one. Is that for me or is that somebody else? Somebody else having something and I'm just here secondhand smoke. I'm just getting it because I'm nearby.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah. And that's really important. Is this my message or is it for somebody else?
Right. Right. Now, of course, like we said, if you're out by yourself or you're, driving the car or whatever, it's probably you. I mean, but it might be. You never, it might be somebody
Well,
else.
I've had feelings, like you're saying you're driving. I get feelings because I can feel, different people around me, or
Sure.
something will come over me and I'm in a great mood and all of a sudden I feel this heaviness and it's like,
Right.
well, I'm in a good space, so who's this for? Who's needing to be contacted to say, hey, something's going on.
Exactly. And I was just going to say that we people do that, and you don't have to be. And again, I want this program to be as open and available to everybody. So rather than saying, "Oh, my psychic friend called me," no, no, no. You've done, and when I say you, I mean all of our listeners. I'm sure that at some point you have picked up the phone, called a friend or a family member, and said, "Hey, I was just thinking about you." Well, what the heck does that mean? That means something came to you, to Bill, and it's like, gee, I need to call Vicki and find out if she's okay or if something, whatever. I just have this feeling. And so I'll pick up the phone and I'll call Vic, and Vicki will usually go, "Oh my God, I don't know what just happened." I'm like, yes, I kind of do. Or vice versa. Or with me and another friend or something like that. So
Yeah.
I guess the bottom line to all this is it for me or is it for somebody else? Because I don't want to get away from the bigger topic of paying attention to happening to you and triggering you, but it might be for somebody else. It might be.
And it could be. And, we're all have the ability to be, receivers.
Right.
So do you want to get the messages? Are you comfortable with that? Or do you want to turn it off? I mean, and it's always a choice. And
Right.
some people don't have that ability, but because they're not comfortable with it. But if you get a message, just kind of going on a sideline, be comfortable, be okay to say, hey, pick up the phone or text somebody and go, hey, I just had this feeling, if you're
Right.
interested, you want to hear about it, because it's always that person's choice to receive it or not. Yet
Right. Right.
we're doing our part of saying, well, I've got this. It's like getting a package and it's not yours. And you go, hey, knock on the door. Here's your package. I came to knock.
Right.
It's the same thing, here's your message that I
Right.
received because you were not in the space at that moment to receive it.
Right.
So,
Right. I live in an apartment that happens all the time. Here's the box the guy left on my door. It's for you. So yeah, I get it. I do. So, but just to finish that other thought about for yourself. All right, I've got this feeling. I've something happened to me, something, and I don't like the word triggered, but in this case, it's about the best thing I can think of. Oh,
Oh, got your
it's affected me in some way.
right. Okay, it affected you. It got your attention.
Right.
It's a wake-up call, maybe.
Right. So then it's my responsibility to actually take some time and do a little thinking about and feeling about where did it come from? How did I get it? And then what's my decision at the end of all this? Well, I'm not going to say, a final, but I mean, what are my best practices for handling that kind of thing? Like you said, reflect on where it came. Okay, I know where it came from. Now what?
Right.
So I
Well,
do
then,
now that I know where it came from, now that I know this is something my second grade teacher taught me or whatever, what do I do with that?
well, that's when you step back and you go, okay, did she have a bad day? Was something going on in her life that maybe, she projected it onto me and, without even thinking about it?
Right.
That's where forgiveness and understanding and compassion, come into play. That was just a moment, and why am I taking it so personal? When
Oh, I
maybe,
like that.
yeah, maybe they had a bad day and they're projecting it onto me without even realizing that they did that. And if they did, how much is it really affecting my life? Why am I still carrying it? Can
Mm-hmm.
I offer forgiveness? Can I say, I understand, I've done the same thing to somebody else,
Right.
that looking at it from that perspective of how can you release it, make it lighter so that you can keep moving forward.
There you go. Yeah. And I think the magic word there is release it. I really, and it's not something you're going to do. It might be. It might work the first time. It
Mhm.
might not. It might be, all right, this is like the 10th time in the last year that this has come up for me. And all right, so now I'm going to think about it. I'm going to like, okay, I know where it came from. I know what happened. I may or may not know what happened. It's not super important to know all the details of the why. But now knowing that it did happen, now I'm just going to release it now. And then it's practice. And after a while, I think it becomes that thing that triggered you becomes a lot less triggering, if
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a
'Cause
good way to put
every
it.
time
Yeah.
you look at it, it gets lighter
Right.
and lighter.
Right. Right.
And
Lighter and
again,
lighter.
yeah. And again, like I said, what can you learn from it? How can
Right.
you gain from that moment? Compassion, thoughtfulness, forgiveness, whatever it is, you're going to find something in it.
Right. Right. I love that. That like everything we talk about on the show, friends, and again to all of our listeners, is this is not, I mean, it's not something that, you snap your fingers and it's like, okay, from the hypnosis, and oh, I'm 100% better. Yeah, no, but you will be somewhat better. And over time, it will get better and better and better.
True.
Right.
And how did maybe that situation actually was a lesson for you, something that you've learned from? So that person is actually offering you this gift of going, okay, I maybe, it was set up that I was supposed to do this to you so that you could learn from it, so that you could grow from it, so that you could release it or embrace it, whatever, is the gift is in it.
Because there is a gift in everything.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
gonna when you write the book, that's your book. If it's not a title yet, it's gonna be one. I know that, right? So yeah. All right. All right, look at that. We're chatting along. Speaking of which,
Yes.
if someone would like some help in chatting with a professional, and I'm thinking of my friend Vicki Wagoner, if someone were interested in hearing more about that sort of process and maybe helping themselves through something they have been through, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, they can call or text 239-248-0586 or email Vicki, Vicki, Wagoner, Wagoner, 53 at gmail.com.
There you go. And of course, as I've been complaining about for the last half hour, I've been working on these new iPhone videos. Has nothing to do with personal spiritual growth, but it does for me, apparently. So
I think it does.
I know, right?
You're my angel that has all these solutions to all my technical difficulties. I mean, just
So there,
opening the iPad is challenging enough for me.
personal development comes in all shapes and sizes,
Oh,
and for
yeah.
some of us, it is their technology that
Oh, yeah.
challenge that triggers them. And so, have we ever done that for you? Yes, I'm pretty sure we have done that for you. Why this triggers you the way it does, and as your therapist, I have to report there's not been a lot of progress
Or
on
has.
straightening it out. But it's okay. It's all right.
Look, I'm here. I'm looking at you. I figured, with your help, I figured out how to do it. Have I asked you since in the last, 6, 8, 9 months?
That's right.
I'm thinking I'm making progress.
You're making progress. We can do a Zoom call now. We're making big progress. That's awesome.
And now that we're laughing is one of the best medicines. Absolutely.
We say that often, and it is because it is always true. If you can laugh at something, that so much the better. So, all right. So take a break, find something to laugh at, look up another cat video or something like that. And we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. This is The Practical Path, the podcast for personal and spiritual growth. My partner over there is Vicki Wagoner, and I'm Bill Sklodowski, and we are getting through some of the things that trigger you and, how to deal with it in terms of looking back on something and figuring out where it came from and how it's affecting you. And the most important part, of course, is the releasing part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of that, I came across this fabulous article earlier this week, and because I was kind of thinking, and remember back to the beginning of the show where yours truly was complaining about wanting to get some stuff done for his YouTube channel and iPhone videos and all that stuff, and it's like just didn't feel it. And I think I was doing a quick search for time management or something like that, and I came across this article that says time management for people pleasers. Time to reclaim your boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm not reading this. And it was written by a mom for a mom, but it doesn't matter. That's the first part of it because and I'm going to read a tidbit. So hats off, by the way, to Kara Chase website, karachase.com, Cara, Chase.com if you want to look that up. So hats off to her and credit to her for this article. And it says, if you're a type A mom, okay, so this is like I said for moms, you know the drill. TA meeting needs a volunteer. Your boss just dropped a last minute project on your desk. There's another fire to put out somewhere if you're a small business owner. Your family assumes you'll plan this year's holiday dinner again. And you say yes because you're a doer, a fixer, the glue that holds everything together. You might believe you're the only one that can do it right. And you probably have a history of taking the lead in various projects and exactly that, doing it right. But deep down, you're teetering on the edge of burnout. Sound familiar? Question mark. And then she hit me over the head with this 2x4. And it said, if you're tired of running on fumes and constantly putting yourself last, it's time to take control of your energy and boundaries. Let's start with a little tough love. People pleasing, and that's all the things she was describing, saying yes to everything and everybody and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
He says, a little tough love. People pleasing isn't about being kind. It's about avoiding conflict and wanting to feel valued.
Oh.
I know, right? And
Yeah.
her next line even says, ouch, right? Somewhere along the line, you took that thinking to heart and your own. But here's the good news. Recognizing this tendency is the first step to it. And that's something Bill and Vicki have been talking about time. So, but, let's face it, as a people pleaser, you're probably saying yes to things like tasks you don't have time for, obligations that don't align with your priorities, or underline and in red, people who drain your energy.
Oh.
Ooh, I know, right?
Yeah.
Here's the basics. Every time you say yes to somebody else, you're essentially saying no to yourself. no to resting, no to joy, no to progress on your own goals. Time is not unlimited, and pretending otherwise just leads to exhaustion. People
Yeah,
pleasers
been
burn
there.
out fast because of things like emotional exhaustion, constantly worrying about disappointing others, overcommitment, resentment, etc., all of that stuff. So yeah, I get it. So I and then she goes on to talk about prioritizing what matters most. Flip the script. Instead of cramming everybody else's priorities into your day, what is it you are focused on for yourself first? The trick is not just to manage your time, but to manage your energy, of course. So there you go.
Yes.
I and then she talks about some ways to get around that. So, things like do a time audit for 1 week, track every hour, how you spend every hour. It's tedious, yes, I know, but the results will be eye-popping. And if I did that, it would bum me out like crazy because I know I spend so much time scrolling on YouTube and stuff like that that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It really is. And do you answer emails? And then she says, plan around your energy, not just the hours involved. Some people are better at the daytime, some people are better at the nighttime, etc. But boundaries. The holy grail for this is the end of the article. The holy
Yeah.
grail for people pleasers is setting boundaries and sticking to them, which can feel impossible. But boundaries are non-negotiable if you want to reclaim your time. Start small. When you used to say yes to everything, no feels like a betrayal, but it's not. You're just redefining priorities. Instead of flat out refusing something like, I'd love to help, but I can't commit right now. Or thanks for thinking of me, but I need to focus on this priority, whatever that may be. Sounds great, but I'll have to pass this time. So in other words, find stuff that's important to you. Now,
Mhm.
I love
Yep.
all of that, and that's all great. The
Yeah.
challenge is for me, I think because it's personal for me. People aren't asking me for time or people aren't asking me to do stuff. It's happened occasionally, and I think
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with all of that. But I think for me, and this is where Vicki Wagner's help would be interesting, or her opinion would be interesting, and that is, I think for me, it is a sense of perfectionism which
Mhm.
gets in the way of doing stuff because the time's not perfect, the setup's not perfect, the like I told you earlier, I set up my little office space to be a recording studio. Well, that needed to be perfect in its own way before I could move ahead, and I
Sure.
played with that for a week. And then the script of the video that needs to be perfect, and I'm playing with that this week. So the perfection thing, I don't know if that's part of. I think the reason this resonated with me is I think it kind of goes together because I think I'm the one with boundaries that are a little bit out of whack for myself. Is any of this making any sense to you?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because we're taught, make sure that you're kind, make sure you take care of the other person, make sure, this is taken care of. What we have to do is look at what is good for us and does it feel right? Is it something that we want to do,
right,
or is it something that we feel, well, we have to do it? That's two different things. So wanting to do it is, putting the energy out and feeling good about it. Having to do it, it's like, oh God, I gotta
right.
do it. I gotta make sure, I take care of this person first. Well, what do they say? When you go on the airplane, put the mask on yourself first, and then give it to
Right.
somebody else.
Or
I
you'll,
think,
yeah,
and I think again, a lot comes from childhood is making sure, that you're the good little girl, you're the good little boy,
right,
and always looking for the opportunity to go, oh, well, let me prove that. No, it's okay to say, sorry, it's not going to work right now. But a lot of people have, a problem with that. It's like, oh, am I being rude? Am I not thinking of the other person? Maybe, you just want to go take a nap and, you're like, okay, well, I'll trudge over there and, take care of Susie, you know.
I,
But looking at how do we respect ourselves?
right. And I want to steer it back toward that because again, I don't feel as though, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm subconsciously finding somewhere else to distract myself. But I feel like this. I'm not making progress on things because I need to have things just in a certain things. The stars need to align and then align again before I can move forward on something. And it's driving me nuts. It really is. And I think a lot of that stuff that we talked about early on in the program about doing something small, something that and the article mentions this towards the end. It's like before agreeing to do anything or even in your own life, I'm adding the in my own life because it's
Right.
again, I'm getting myself all worked up over this. It's not that other people are asking me for my time or commitment to anything or whatever. I'm pretty self-contained, and I love that about my. But the thing is, and her first and most important question, and she had two or three of them, is the thing that I'm doing now aligning with my own priorities?
Yes.
So, my goal this week is to crank out a couple of YouTube videos on my little iPhone channel or whatever. Okay.
Right.
Is scrolling YouTube and watching cat, and when I say cat videos, I don't watch cat videos, but I watch so many other crazy videos about crazy stuff. All right, Bill, is watching this next video, is it in alignment with my priority?
Yeah.
Hell no. That's an easy answer. Hell no. All right. Second question. Will doing this thing, and again, she's thinking in terms of the author of this article is thinking in terms of this helping somebody else, this committing to some project, this whatever. For Bill, it's again, is watching this video or this TV show or taking a nap. Does this, is it a priority? Does it move me toward my priorities? Is it energizing me or exhausting me? Or, is it adding energy or burning energy? Which is what I would say. And am I saying yes because I want or I feel obligated to do something? And again, I don't have a lot of that, so I feel fortunate there. But the first one is I need to write that down in like 2-foot tall letters and post it above my desk. Is this thing that I'm doing right now, right here, is it in alignment and supporting the priorities that I've established for myself? And I think that if I left anybody with anything on this particular rant, I think that's what I want to leave myself with. Let's put it that way.
So make yourself a little note.
A big note.
Big note. Okay, a big note.
Right.
So that when you go to your computer or whatever, it's right there. It's that reminder. Okay, am I in alignment with what feels right for me?
Yes.
And so just that. So it's kind of like your best friend saying, "Hey, is this the right thing that you're doing? Are you going to be enjoying it? Is it going to get you to your goal? Let's take a look at it."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Helping you to
that's
and if you're not feeling it, be okay to go, it's okay, I'm not feeling it right now. So
right.
That's the other side of it is, are you making yourself do it, or are you choosing to go, this will be okay, or you know what, maybe I'll do it tomorrow.
I have to be careful with that because I can do tomorrow, and then 2 weeks are gone.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really.
No, and I think we all can. I mean,
right.
Doing the same thing. So I think that's just part of being human. Do I really want to do it? No, I think I'll go, dust the furniture. It seems a lot more fun, even though it isn't. Right. Sometimes you're just not in the mood to do it.
Right. And I already know the answer to this because you and I don't do it, but a lot of people do, especially business people who have their own businesses.
Right.
And I would consider that you and I both have our own, sort of. And they will start the week or Sunday night, sit down at their computer or their paper calendar and look at their and I've met his name 100 times on this show. My personal guru, Brett Burchard, will say, if it's not on your calendar, it's not happening. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. So Sunday night, sit down at that calendar and look and go, okay, Now on Monday morning, I'm recording my podcast with my friend BJ, so that 2 hours is gone. And on Tuesday morning, I'm recording my podcast with my friend Vicki, so that 2 hours is gone. No problem. Okay, no problem. I got lunch every day at this time approximately. But look at that afternoon; it's wide open. Why don't we fill in a few hours here and there
Yeah,
to do the thing?
right.
I I I don't know if that would work for me because I'm so doggone not good at following that sort of instruction. And I have to ask myself, why? Why can't I look at the calendar or, good God, have Alexa remind me that on my calendar right now for the next hour, I'm going to work on my YouTube video? I'm
So how
resistant to that. That's so weird to me.
Well, you were a radio guy for years and years and years. So you had this schedule and you had this routine and that. So maybe somewhere in there you go, you know what? I just want the freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want.
That
Because
you're
that could,
100%. Yeah, no, let me just say you're 100% correct with that because for 20 years, my morning from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. was scripted to the sec. I mean, this is what's happening here and there, here and here and here and here. And yes, when I left the radio business, I remember thinking to myself, I'm never getting up with an alarm again. It's going to be great. And now I don't get up with an alarm, and good God, times I'll just sleep all damn day. So pendulum might have swung too far that way.
okay.
So now maybe I need to
How could
bring
you
it back
swing it back a little bit?
a
Doesn't
little
mean
bit.
you have to have, your schedule on your calendar, like, okay, I'm going to eat at this time, I'm going to be on the
Mm,
computer this time, this time, this time. But maybe a few things in the day, in the week,
right.
well, okay, well, you know, okay, at 2 o'clock, I'm going to do this. Well, if you get there at 2:30 or quarter to three, you know what? You still got there. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking that's what it is that everything was so scheduled and everything had to be right on time and,
right.
program that maybe it's the little boy and you going, screw this. I'm just going to do what I want, you know,
There's a lot of that in me still. There really is.
you know,
The problem is, and maybe a lot of my retired friends will relate, and that is when you don't have to do anything, you often end up doing exactly that, nothing
nothing.
for days, and you wonder where the week went, and you're like, oh damn, I didn't do a thing.
So what,
So
so what is your comfort zone in saying, okay, I want to be a little bit more, scheduled or a little bit more
right,
responsible? You don't have to have the whole day full, but maybe
right,
it's like, 3 days of the week, can you just put something in so you still
a
have
couple of hours here, yeah, a few hours here and there, yeah. I think that's where it has to start. Again, we were talking earlier in the show, and that seems to be the theme of the show here of find the little things that you can do or that for me, this idea hasn't fully to me yet, but I know here's the beginning of it because
Okay.
I know exactly what happened with setting up the quote unquote studio. It's not a studio; it's a corner of one room where I have the camera and the lights set up, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I was curious about how this particular thing would work. Could I make this? Would this fit? Will this work? Will this light fit here? Blah blah. So curious seems to be a key word here. All right, I'm curious to see how this would work. So I'm choosing. I know Vicky's
Yes.
gonna say need, one of those should words. I'm choosing to think about to find ways that curiosity can work with other aspects of this bigger project. And yes, you can hear it. Bill's choosing his words very carefully because
Yeah.
I don't want to, I don't want to say whatever. I'm just choosing my words carefully. So that's cool.
And that's your choice. And that's part of setting this all up is by your choice. You're choosing what feels right for you. I mean, some people like, to go all day long,
Right,
and go the whole day.
right,
What's your comfort zone?
right. And
And
that's and when you're motivated, well, I can speak for myself on that. When I'm motivated on something, yes, I could do something all day. Sure.
sure, yeah.
those days are not happening as frequently as I'd like. But again, like you said, maybe this you do what you can. For Bill, it's finding something. What can I be curious about? What can I scratch that itch to
Right.
say, all right, I did that. All right, I did this part. How can I turn this into a plan, into a system, into a something that will help me move forward on that?
Yeah.
I
Just,
think that's my lesson for the week. Yeah.
yeah. It's like, baby steps. Okay, when a baby first starts walking, you get one step, two steps, and then you fall down. But it's
Right.
that continuous, okay, well, maybe, that continuous walking forward, or putting in the intention of, okay, for this week, I'm going to write down, three things on my calendar, and they could
Right.
be little things, but still getting you in that habit of, okay, let's keep moving forward. And then
Right.
maybe to the point of, you stretch it out a little bit. But it's
Right.
always up to you, what is in your comfort zone? That's the most
Right.
important. What are you comfortable with?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're not comfortable with the thing, you can do it for a little while, but you're
Yeah.
not going to make a habit out of it. You're just not.
No.
It's just not going to be something you do constantly or whatever. So yeah, I get it. I do. Yeah, yeah, I like that. And yeah, I last week. I just want to finish on that. Finish on this. Easy for me to say. Last week I was talking about, because I know you're not a sports person or a football fan or whatever. I'm a football fan, and they made a big deal out of showing a member of the Philadelphia Eagles sitting on the sideline during his game. We talked about this briefly, and he had a physical paperback book in his hands that he was reading on the sidelines during the game. And
Wow.
in 65 years of watching football or whatever it's been, I have never seen that before. And they made a big deal out of it, of course. And the book, and it was a self-development book called Inner Excellence,
Oh,
Extraordinary Performance and the Best Possible Life. And the book is actually like 5 years old. But it was written by a former baseball player, a guy by the name of Jim Murphy. And they were saying, and when we saw that 2 weeks ago, I mentioned it on the program last week, and then if the Eagles continued, I know you don't care, but the Eagles are still in the playoffs. They played again this week, so of course they were talking about the guy in his book, and the announcer said, "Yeah, guess what? The number one bestseller on Amazon is this week," and it's this, it's this
well,
years old book that this guy had, and it was raining where they were playing, and one of the announcers said, "Gee, do you think this guy he's going to bring his paperback out in the rain?" And somebody also said, "They'll send him another one." It's like, yeah, like if he needs it. So, what does that have to do with anything? I don't know that it has anything to do with anything, but it is all about training your mind for performance and your best possible life, and that is to find something that you can hang your energies on, your motivation on, to get yourself moving toward the thing that you want for yourself.
right. And
Maybe
again,
that's one of our shows in the next couple of weeks here, is because we talk about that all the time. We just spent a half an hour talking about, is this thing that I'm doing moving me toward my priority? Well, what the hell is my priority? Maybe that's next week. We talk about, how do I figure that out for myself?
well, still keep in mind, like we were talking about the baby steps. So every little thing that you're doing is going to collect. It's going
Yep.
to add, and you'll find your comfort zone. And if it's one or two things a week, that's your comfort zone. If you want to be busy every single day of the week, well, that's somebody's comfort zone. I mean,
Right.
so you got to be comfortable with yourself to go, okay, these, two things, these three things that I do in the week, that feels good to me. And
And
celebrate.
again,
Oh, I did that, I
right,
got that.
right. With the knowing, with the pri again, priority is a generic word. It's like, okay, what am I prioritizing? Well, for Bill, it's creating these videos for his YouTube channel, whatever, etc. Obviously, not the same for anybody else. That's my thing. Everybody
Right.
else has their own priorities. So I think that needs a little attention from us, a little energy to say, all right, what are your priorities? How do you figure that out? How do you know what you're doing is really what you want? Because a lot of things we do in life are just because of, again, obligation or commitment or whatever. So,
Getting a paycheck to pay the bills and,
well, yeah, that's kind of important. Yeah.
well, yeah, it's important, but are you enjoying it?
Right. Exactly. So there's a question to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we have our next couple of shows lined up, and that's a great thing because this one's over.
Oh, no.
It's Vicki. It's been a pleasure as always. And I've said this, I don't know how many times. We've done 24 shows now, and I've probably said it on half of them. I always think to myself, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about for an hour. And then an hour flies by, and I'm like, well, that was easy.
I got more to say.
More to say. If someone would like to get in touch with you and learn more about themselves, perhaps, and help work on themselves a little bit, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, again, they can call or text 239-248-0586 or email me at Vicki, Vicki, Wagoner, Wagoner 53 at gmail.com.
And of
what
course,
about you?
right, all those videos that aren't there yet. There's plenty
Coming.
from years gone by, and there are new ones coming this week. Damn it! Just do a search on YouTube, Bill's iPhone Tips, and you'll find all my stuff there. So there you go. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Bill's iPhone Tips on YouTube. All good. A pleasure. Thank you, as always.
Well, thank you again for all of you joining us. And again, I'm Vicki Wagoner, wishing you a great week. And as I always like to say, remember to always be your own best friend.